I goofed and I need to share this with you guys again. Here it is. Sorry about that. Okay, hello, welcome. Welcome. We are getting set up today to draw our hand. There we go. Tuck the cords out of the way. So for this, you are going to need your sketchbook and pencils, of course, and your hand. Yay. There should be more of you in here. I see only 6. Let's go, kiddos. There's only 6 and 7. Come on. In we go. I goofed on the first link. I might, if my camera cord is even slightly yanked out, then the whole thing has to be restarted. And I don't want to hear my cell phone at all. Are some people having troubles joining this YouTube stream? Is this a challenge for you guys? Is there any way I can help you? I expect you all to be in here. Ten. I know there's more than 10 of you. Let's go. All right, that's enough waiting. You got your sketchbooks open. You've got your kit of pencils ready to go. Let's do this. So let's grab a nice soft light pencil that's easily erased later on in the creative process of drawing. I'm going to start off with a 2B pencil, and I have my light source set up. Now I'm going to lay my hand over on the adjacent page so that I've got some shadows, I've got something interesting. Whatever you do, folks, do not slap your hand down on the middle of the page and trace it. We are so far above and beyond that level of art that it's just shameful, okay? You can't do that. Let's put our hands in a polite position that is a little bit more interesting than just bah or bah, okay? Let's do something a little bit more interesting. I'm going to put my hand like this on the sheet. I'm going to draw up to my wrist a little bit, pretty much what you see on the screen there. Yeah, and then I've got a few shadows being cast over there. It's pretty interesting. I have some overlapping. I've got some interesting shadows. The nice thing about the hand is that you can manipulate it to be in different positions. So that's nice. Why are we drawing a hand? Well, pretty much every post-secondary application portfolio demands hand drawings for programs such as animation and illustration. I think even game design. I've seen hand drawings. Being able to draw the hand is really one of the most sought after skills in post-secondary programs that are art-based. So the reason that I have my grade 10s and my grade 9s and my 11s and my 12s all do a observational life drawing of their hand is to slowly get them prepared to expose them to these sort of requirements that they may or may not choose to follow after they finish high school. But like I've said a million times before, you know, you can't just read about drawing hands and then suddenly be able to do it perfectly. You actually have to practice. So if you take my courses, you'll at least have drawn hands 4 times. And you have had 4 experiences of doing it rather than none, you know, and trying to, okay, suddenly deciding, I'm going to draw a hand now. Let's see if I can do it. But Miss, hands are hard. Yeah, they're hard if you forget everything that you've learned up to this point, they're tough. But if you remember everything that I've taught you up to this point, I think you have the skills and the tools in your bag of tricks that'll help you be successful. All right, so that's enough of my preaching. My homily is over. What are we going to do today? What do we do all the time? We decide whether we're going to go portrait or landscape. I'm happy with this landscape format because the hand is longer than it is wide for my case. I'm going to draw my north, south, east, and west. I'm going to plot down my hand. The highest point is my index finger. You guys will have different and then it's just going to run off the page. So put down, I want the top highest point of my drawing to be up here. I want it to be about yay wide and so on and so forth. So I'm going to fit in here. A lot of times I get students' artwork where they draw these itty bitty little hands. And then they have all this negative space left over. So make sure that when you do this, that you use the space of the page correctly. Once I have that, I'm going to look at the basic geometric shapes that I see before me. The palm of your hand is essentially a square. Okay? And then if you make an overlapping shape for your fingers, like what do they fill in? I see a triangle for mine. See that? They kind of come to a point. So I'm going to draw these sort of things, real light. And this is the step where you focus on the basic geometric shapes, right? So my fingers fill this kind of a space, this shape. Can you see that okay, everybody? All right, working with silence. You can hear me, right? Can someone click the like button if you hear me? Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm going to draw the palm now. And it's kind of divided into two. So I'm just getting the basic geometric shapes. I'm not worried about fingers or anything like that. I'm just worried about getting the general areas and that those shapes are in proportion to what I see here. And then I have a rectangle-like shape. Trick is to hold still. That's my thumb joint. There's overlapping here. And I'm just going to eliminate my watch. I'm not going to draw that. It's in there. No big deal. Okay, so I've got the basic geometric shapes of my hand. I'm fairly content with the proportion. I've noticed that the palm of my hand is longer than the space that my fingers take up when they're in this curled, soft position. Okay, so I've drawn shapes that are in that same kind of shape, the proportion, that's the better word, proportion that I see here. Then I'm looking at the length of my thumb compared to other parts. Okay, how high does my thumb come compared to my index finger? Let's start talking about fingers. So essentially, they're lines, right? If we break them down and look at jointed lines, just the lines. Don't worry about the meat yet of your fingers. Look at the angles that they go at, the directions that they move in. Some of you, like my pinky finger, I'll get to it. I need to do them in order. Just like the prongs of the fork, eh? The people who drew utensils yesterday, prongs of the fork, figure out where they are divided. Where does the palm, where do they come out of your palm? And then what direction do they go in? And if they're overlapping themselves, that's all right. I'll help you with that. So over here, if you have a finger that's overlapping, you got one chunk, two chunks, and you just draw the chunks over top of each other. When you do the shading, you'll be able to see, right? You'll be able to see things of it overlapping itself. But right now we're doing the finger, we're doing the line. We're just figuring out where they go. And then what do they overlap? And once you get the direction, the line, make sure that it's correct. Double check things. Draw lightly so you can erase, because you're not going to get it perfect the first time. And that's okay. What's not okay is giving up. Keep at it. Don't expect to get it right. All right, so I'm fairly satisfied with these the direction at least that I've put down for these hands, or fingers. Ooh, I'm not having a good talking day. Now I'm going to add the meat to them. Okay, so again, what basic shape do I see? I'm going to call them muscular. Other people may call them chunky, chubby fingers. I've got a lot of meat on my hands. Sure, there's a Seinfeld episode about hands. He'd break up with girls for the strangest reasons. One episode hit home with me. Anyways, they're muscular because I can do all this stuff. That's how I find the positive. Some people have extremely skinny, thin fingers. You know what? That's awesome if you've got strong hands. Or if you've got thin little hands, skinny hands, it's all good. Whether you got huge acrylic fake nails or you chewed them down to the quick, it doesn't matter. All right, as we're working on the shapes, in order to get more accurate shapes, you got to look at the negative spaces too. That's going to help you out a ton. Remember that trick I taught you? Negative shapes. So in between the fingers, do you see emptiness? Do you see the white of that adjacent page? I see right in here. Look at that. I got a little bit of negative space peeking through. So I'm going to be a bit more accurate by drawing this rather than focusing just on that stuff. And in here, and then from my angle, I can see just a little bit of negative space peeking through another finger. So I'm going to draw all that. I'm going to draw that negative space. You can see I have a ring on and my wedding ring's on. So I'm going to be drawing metal today again. Good thing I had a lot of practice with the spoon drawing yesterday. Where does one thing come off the next? We're always comparing. Don't worry about details right now, such as the wrinkles in the knuckles and anything like that. Doesn't quite matter yet. What matters is accuracy. Watching where There's certain lines that you can't ignore, like this line in here. That's very distinct and it's making a nice shape. So I'm going to get that one in. But if it's just texture, don't worry about texture. Decide whether it's a worthy line or whether it's just texture. Anybody have their palms read? Always like, I don't believe in this stuff, but it's still fun to hear it, hear what they predict, hear what they say. I remember when I was a kid, we used to count. I don't want to move that one. We used to count how many lines we had on the side of our hand. And that would tell us how many children we'd have when we're older and things like that. I don't know if you guys do that anymore. When you don't have the internet, you make up fun things to do. Okay, so I have to move it. My pencils are all on my left side. I can't use my left hand today. So I have a big mess of lines right now. I don't know what you guys have on your books, but if you have a big mess right now and you're starting to feel like you're getting close to an accurate contour line drawing, go ahead, grab your kneaded eraser, wake it up this morning and erase the unnecessary lines, and you'll start to discover whether you were correct, whether you need to change a few things. Just go clean it up a bit. Some will be helpful in my value and when I start shading it in. Like I like that. So I'm going to leave that there. But definitely these outlines. Clean up, reevaluate, reassess. Before I move forward and start shading anything in, I need to make sure that this step is correct. I know the answer's in here somewhere, or something close to the answer. And my wonky pinky finger. These here are working hands. There we go. I wouldn't be able to function with acrylic nails. You ever watch those YouTube videos where you see someone put like rubber boots, like little snow boots on their dog, and the dog just freezes and doesn't know what to do, and it's just standing in the middle of the hallway all rigid and like, what happened to me? Does not compute. That would be me with those like gigantic acrylic nails. I'd just be like, oh, now what? All right. Take a few seconds and flip your drawing upside down. Make sure that it looks okay. This uses a different part of your brain and kind of helps you pinpoint the wonky looking things, like whether I skewed something or not, whether it's a little crooked, whether it's wonky, lopsided, askew. And I've cleaned up my contour lines. I'm fairly content with them. I'm going to carefully get my hand back into that position. Something, 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 something. Looking at my negative space. There we go. Oh, no, I could see that. I thought it was a very natural position that would be easy to... Okay, tips, guys. Don't move your hand. All right. Good enough. Here we go. So I've grabbed a 4B pencil, something that's a little bit darker, and I'm going to be examining and looking at the darker parts of my hand and working from there. Now, this isn't like yesterday's life drawing where there were like extreme shiny highlights, but we'll still keep an eye out and be aware of the different values that we're seeing here. So let's start to the dark. Let's go to the dark side, and it's very dark in here. Your positions are different than mine, and that's great. That's wonderful. You do you. Your hands look different than mine, just like your faces look different than me. Thank goodness. So it's up to you. You need to find this answer. We're looking for a full range of value from dark to light. We need smooth transitions. Some of your sketchbook drawings that I've seen are just choppy, sudden transitions, and you really only have 3 values, light, medium, and dark. So if you're one of them, try to go for 5. Try to play with the pressure of your pencil. You can start wherever you guys want to. I'm using gentle circular strokes. All right. And I'm always going to be asking myself, this is the trick. Look, you can even see it on the camera. See how it gets dark under this finger, but it's lighter down here on this finger. So always be comparing and contrasting. It's light here, it's dark, but then it gets light again. And then it gets dark over here. So remember when we did those sphere drawings? That's being that idea, that concept of capturing the roundness is happening again, where we've got dark, gradation, medium to light. Each chunk of your hand is, you could look at it as a different sphere, an individual sphere. So it was light here, dark, light, dark to make it feel round, to mold it. But then if we go in the other direction, it's light, but then it's dark over here. Light, dark down here, light, just a little bit more lighter here. Because it's catching, the light's just catching that little bit of finger, and then it gets dark again. But then there's that reflective light. Remember the sphere had that real quick. It had just that little bit of lightness over on this side. It was because the light was reflecting up off the table. So our hands are placed on the white side of the sketchbook, and there's just a bit of reflective light happening too. Okay, so be super observant. Light, dark, light, light, dark, light, light, dark, light, or dark, light, dark. There's always like a rounding effect. Rogan. So I'm treating this pad of the index finger like I just explained, where I'm tackling this section on its own. And that makes my life a little bit easier, right? Like I'm not overwhelmed by hand. How do I draw a hand? It's like, okay, I'm just doing this section right now. And I'm thinking of it as a sphere. And I'm looking for the same things I saw with the sphere drawing. It is hard to keep your hands still. I'm noticing just how dark it is in here compared to out here. And then how there's a soft glow along the top of this section. So I'm using an eraser around the outside of the edge to clean it up. I don't want any kind of fuzzy stray hair marks or pencil lines because I don't see that in real life. So it's not going to be in my drawing. And then I can use the eraser. I find like it got a little too dark here on that part. So form it into the right shape that I need. And I'm going to just dab with the eraser, and it does a lovely job just bringing it up a couple levels of value. You know, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. There we go. Sometimes it's easier to just lay a layer of graphite down and then pull up the highlights, but only if it's not, you know, the pure white. You can't do that with shiny metals or things like that. But with this hand not being shiny metal and never getting the white of the page again, no matter what nationality and you've got, it'll never be the white of the page. So just raising it up a few levels on the grayscale with the not the magic eraser, oh my goodness, with this malleable eraser is just fine. There we go. Now I don't want to lose definition though. So we're about 40 minutes into this drawing. None of you should be done yet. None of you should be snapping pictures and submitting it right now. You have not spent enough time carefully drawing this. This is one of the more challenging assignments. There we go. We brought some definition back on that index finger. Whew, 1 finger done. I lost my little piece of paper. There you go. Make sure you have that scrap piece of paper under your drawing hand so it doesn't smudge everything and ruin your artwork. To bring this thumb forward in space, this is really a dark value compared to what's behind it. And that's the trick. That's the illusion that's tricking my eye. I have to capture that in my drawing so that I can create that illusion to trick people's eyes to understanding that this is closer to me, closer to the viewer. You should do it chunk by chunk. 14 viewers today, kids. How exciting is that? You're only here because you have to be 15. Woo! I guess it doesn't count if you're like a captured audience. Pat myself on the back when it goes over 20. Until then. $16. Oh my gosh. Dear diary. People watch my stuff. Or at least they log in and then walk away. Right? Who's there? I don't know. They're gone. They're off playing Tetris somewhere. There is, if you have a PlayStation, there is a game out that's free. Oh, I keep forgetting the name of it. You're this red-headed huntress, and you're in this post-apocalyptic world where it's kind of like a hunter-gatherer, Stone Age, Bronze Age period of time, but machines are like these weird animals, and you're out hunting them, and you're an outcast, and it's really a really, really good game. And it's free. Like, it's like Skyrim. It's very similar to Skyrim. So if you love Skyrim and that huge open world where you're just, exploring, opening up maps, gathering things for potions and crafting, and then, hunting animals, boars and rabbits and things, and then also having awesome battles with these mech monsters. And then there's this underlying mystery. I mean, I just started playing it last night. That's it. Horizon Zero Dawn. Thank you, Expolit. Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn. Really, really good game. Like, I'm quite enjoying it. I just started it last night. But it's free. It's free. And it's free because they're coming out with the sequel. And the only reason that Horizon Zero Dawn didn't catch on when it first came out, like it didn't get the publicity that it really certainly deserved, because it's beautiful, beautiful game, lovely music in the background. Was the reason why it wasn't recognized was because it came out at the same time as Breath of the Wild, Nintendo's Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild, any kind of Zelda game gets huge hype. That's, aside from Mario, that's Nintendo's big seller game. So I think it was a bit of a whoopsie on PlayStation's part, or the game developer's part, to release it at the same time as a Zelda game, because a lot of people have Nintendo and maybe PlayStation at the same time. And it's like one or the other. And Breath of the Wild took over my life when that came out. Oh my goodness. But anyways, they want hype. They want to hype up people, get people excited for the sequel of Horizon Zero Dawn, which won't come out as free, nor should it. And I'm definitely excited. Oh gosh, if it was in VR, that would be pretty exciting. My son has a VR set. I haven't even put the thing on. I don't know. It's kind of like not feeling sick. And none of the games so far appeal to me. I think that's more the reason why I haven't bothered. I don't know if that's a question or if that's a statement. Will that be a PlayStation exclusive as well? I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't pay attention, to be honest, I don't pay attention to other platforms that are outside of PlayStation and Nintendo because I don't have those systems. So why? I don't let myself get excited for things I can't get, you know? And then I'm satisfied with what I have. So I'm not looking for more. My husband's really excited for Grand Theft Auto 6. Horizon is by Sony. What does that mean then? What does that mean for other people then? That it's by Sony? That it'll only be a PlayStation exclusive game? Oof, this name's difficult. Exclusive to PlayStation. I can't believe that you still, even to this day, can't get a PlayStation 5. Or at least we haven't been able to. And there aren't any like sign up lists, where you're like, here, take my money when the next one comes. Zero Dawn came out on PC, but that was after a long time. Yeah, I guess they were trying to make some kind of cash off it. How disappointing. I mean, I've been playing it, obviously. And I'm just putting myself in the game developers, like I'm trying the empathetic exercises that I have you guys do. I do that while I watch movies and play games and things like that. I'm like, because I teach a lot of students who go on into game design, who go on into film and animation and all that sort of stuff. So I feel like I actually grew up with a friend who became a big texture artist in movies. He does like texture. He's done tons of movies, and I enough like popular movies. And I watch the credits. He's just like one of those people in a million along the credits, but I still watch for his name and be like, I know that guy. Anyways, we'd like to read the names, and I think about all the people that work on a movie and in a video game, same amount. Pretty much these kind of video games that I like are very movie-like, where there's a story. And I think how disappointing it must have been to put that much time into a project and then it didn't take off as well as you'd hoped. We play a game at the end of movies often. And it started because you know how Marvel movies always have that little clip at the end. And we always want to stay in the theater. Remember theaters, guys? Remember? We'd always want to stay and watch the clip, but you get bored sitting there just doing nothing. So we play a game, we count how many times we see our own name in the credits, and whoever gets the most count, the highest score, wins that game, wins that round. And we still do it, even not for Marvel movies. We'll still watch the credits for a new film, not everything, but a new film, and we'll count the names and see who wins. And it's kind of, I feel like I'm acknowledging all those people who work so hard. Anyways, my son William, he wins all the time. Nobody's named Melissa anymore. It's such an uncommon name. I see names like Baba Ganoush before any kind of Melissa anymore. I'm just glad, and there's no Karens with us, but I'm glad that my name hasn't become a meme. Don't try anything. Don't try to start something. Oh, these fingers have moved so much since I first drew them. Something, something, something. What's dark? What's light? That's it. You're just a little computer. Don't overthink it. Is it dark? Is it light? Put it down. Is it dark? Is it light? Put it down. Section by section. Don't overcomplicate things. It's already complicated enough as it is, right? Oh, gosh. These fingers have moved so much. Watch tonight. I'll go on to Reddit and there'll be all these memes and things about Melissa's. Have to go into hiding. Change my name. There are incredible artists out there that capture like the wrinkles and like the pores and the hairs and like every little microscopic detail in a hand. Like the shine, like when you're looking at your hands, you can see it, right? Like the shine on the skin isn't smooth. It's got all these little creases and crisscrosses and all those little lines, like dried earth, I guess, depending on how moisturized you are. And there's artists out there who capture it, who get it all, who get it in there. I don't expect that level of perfectionism and realism at this stage of the game. No way, guys. No way. But it doesn't hurt to be aware that it's happening. It's out there. People are doing it. Oof. What are we at? 58, almost an hour. This is a tougher drawing. Yesterday was easy compared to this one. We're about 50% done. I don't know where you guys are in the creative process of this. Like hyperrealism? Totally, yeah. I would never expect a high school student to be at that level. And if they were, it's like, here's your marks, go for it. I don't know how you have the time. It must take them forever. Because let's face it, we all have these timelines that we have to meet, and our expectations have to meet the limitations. So my drawing's becoming a bit of a blurry mess. I think I'm reaching that artist's low where I'm feeling not so positive about it. But I'm not going to let that drag me down. I know what to do to fix it. I just need to crack out the eraser. That's all right that you haven't made a lot of progress. Are you still at the sketching stage? That's all right. In the palm area now? Yeah, me too. Okay. All right. Yeah, I go fast. I feel a lot of pressure under here to move at a quick pace. That's all right. You go at your speed. I think it's a matter of confidence too. And I know you guys at this point, or I can't imagine, like a few of you may feel very confident in your drawings, and that's awesome. And confidence will, as the more confidence you have, the quicker you'll be, because you'll be like, yep, that line's good. But if you lack confidence, which is totally normal right now, if you lack confidence, then it'll slow you down. I'm here to be your confidence booster. You guys are awesome. You can do it. Just use the comparison trick where you look at how one part of a finger comes off, intersects with another part. Where is it high? Is it low? Is it in the middle? Taller, bigger, smaller, fatter? Please don't go for hyperrealism. I would like your focus to be, get it in as correct proportion as you can. And then work on neatness. Tidy up your lines. Tidy up the hairy bits. Unless you have hairy knuckles, which has happened before. I've seen that. And that's wonderful. And then your next step, I would like you to try for the shading, because it is very similar to the sphere, okay? Think of it as that. Each section is like a little sphere, is a little ball. And the chubbier you are, the more sphere-like it'll be, or it'll be more like a cylinder if you have thinner, slimmer hands. this guy. I'm finding the malleable eraser really helpful in this project. I'm not sure. Can you guys hear that buzzy little noise? It sounds like the cat's playing with a door stopper. Yeah, this is the best. Just getting this eraser, pulling off what I've smudged into the page, and it's and I'm having a better time finding the hand again. Oh. Want some more comfy? Okay. If you're on the palm area now, does that mean that you, Mia and Chris, are you, like, did you finish the fingers? Or are you just sketching it? Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Everyone's at their own pace. You should be done sketching at this point. You've spent over an hour sketching. That should be done. So whatever you've got down as a sketch, in order to meet the time limits, the time expectations on this activity, it's time to clean up your sketchy bits and move on to the shading. Okay? It's time. I'm gonna give you one of those gentle pushes. So remember yesterday with the end of the spoon and trying to get things metallic, and all it took was lightening one little area and it made it look shiny. We were going for the metal textures, reflective metal textures. This is going to be the same idea. You're going to have the same idea here, where it's just a matter of lightening one finger or slash vice versa, darkening a finger to either push or pull them closer or further away from the viewer. And it's a matter of putting those two values side by side, the contrast that will emphasize the distance, the illusion of space and depth. So we're all shading now. In you go. Jump in that pool. So all of my fingers are casting. See this fun little shadow here? Look at that. Pull out the old 6B for this. Ooh, so exciting. I'm just going to cover the whole shebang, because there's nothing really light over here. So I'm just going to, like a layer of paint in a sense, right? You're painting a wall in a room or painting your nails. put that first layer down, and then we'll build up the values. We'll push and pull with dark and lights. Just going to slop this guy down first. And the palm, once you get the fingers done, folks, easy street. That's the hardest part. You get those suckers done. You get those sausages colored in, shaded in, sorry. Ooh, I should use the right terminology, right? Once you get those sausages shaded in, the palm, easy peasy. Find those overall shadows. Get the values down. Look at that. You could also be cognizant, that's a fun word, aware, thoughtful of your pencil strokes. I've got flesh being pulled a little bit here. So my pencil strokes are going to mimic the roundness and the direction that the flesh is being pulled at, so that even if I don't like blend it in perfectly and you still see some of my pencil strokes, it's only going to work to my advantage. Work smart, not hard. See that? Just the pencil strokes made that feel round. Don't just chop off your drawing at the wrist. Go down a little further. It'll give it a nicer sense of movement. You can fade out at the end there, but don't just chop it off like here, okay? Give yourself a little bit of suggestion that there's more to this thing, you know. So I'm just blocking in the shadows. Really dark here. Remember, we can always lighten it with that kneaded eraser. So find a good medium level of gray, pop it on there. Look at that. Sped right up. Get the fingers done. Get the hard part over with before you burn out. 10 o'clock. Let's just push through to 10:30, see if we can finish this or get a little bit closer to being done. Pick up the pace. Remember those timed activities that we were doing at the beginning of the course? You are capable of drawing quicker. I feel like I've lost the cast shadow. You can see it up here, but it continues on. And it's important. You don't want to lose it. Oh, fingers. Okay. And then we bring out the kneaded eraser and we bring out the highlights again. Where did they go? Where are they? Just dab, dab, dab. So essentially, I'm just drawing with this eraser now. Just going back and working from the dark base and bringing out the light areas. So working in the reverse. If we had all the time in the world, we do activities where I give you a piece of black paper or brown paper and you work from, like, think about the grayscale, but you're starting from 10 or you're starting from 5. If you're on the black paper, you're starting from 10 and you are adding, like, working in white pencil crayon or chalk or white Conte, which is like a kind of like an in the world of pastels, I guess, a little harder. Or if I gave you brown paper, because I don't have gray, you'd be working from level 5 and you'd be adding the dark shadows or adding the light highlights. Here on white paper, we're always working from 0 white and we're adding the dark. And it's important to try working from a different level on the grayscale. Shade some area in where it's mostly, a medium gray. And then use your eraser and pull out your highlights. And then go back in after you've done that and pop in those little dark areas to keep the crispness. Now, these wrinkles in the palms of your hands, if you look closely, they're not a solid line necessarily. Sometimes they are. But look and check and see if you can see broken lines that are crisscrossy. Maybe they pick up and then they stop. We need a palm reader to come in and join the chat and identify these things just for fun. It's sunny outside, kids. I bet it's still cold, though. What lousy weather, eh? But then again, when it's nice, I want to be outside. When it's miserable, I'm happy to sit at the studio and do work. Oh, that's an hour and a half. Where are you guys? Has anyone finished fingers? Nobody's finished fingers. Has anybody finished? Yeah. Well, of course. Sorry, Josh, but I didn't expect a yes from you. That would be a pleasant surprise. Okay, never mind. I know. I just read the name. Hey. Hey. Yay. I know you. Welcome, Katrina. Is this the first one you've joined us with? How did you find out? Like, did you get a notification? Hey. So good to have you. This is a former St. Mary's student. Yay. Yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm just doing one of my classic lessons. I'm great. I am. This is nice. It's nice to be able to draw with people. If you saw my Instagram, I've been putting stuff on, drawing a little bit more often. How are you? Everything good? Thank you. And I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. Well, guys, I think I might just call this done. I really do have a lot of marking to do. So I'm going to sign this and stretch my left hand a little bit. My fingers have gone very cold. My thumb is numb. Oh, that's a new discovery. ASMR. I'm going to sign this sucker and I'm going to sign off. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I'm going to go check out that your Instagram then after this. I'm flattered. Thank you. Yay. All right, folks. I'm going to sign it somewhere close to the hand and snap a picture and so on and so forth. If you really are desperate for a break, my students who have been drawing for an hour and a half with me, then please feel free to go take your break. I will do attendance at, a little bit before 11. All right. Just take about a 20-minute break. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for those likes. And thanks, former students, for joining in. That was really nice to touch base with you. And I'll see you next time. Take care.